our Formula One board games. I am looking forward to opening these up. I actually kind of alluded to these in a video earlier that I made a little bit of a joke that I wanted to show this. This one's for the boys only. And you know what? I'm just going to put up a little bit of stuff to block some sound. If you're just joining us right now, I am getting set up and I am going to be showing you what it's like to play this classic board game from 1964. So thank you so much for tuning in. I got this from my dad back when I was over at his place, and he's closing up his antique shop, and he was saying that he's looking forward to getting rid of all the stuff that he has in there. We found two of these actually. So we have, this is the first one, and oh, I have this one upside down. This is the other one. So one of these is for parts, and the other one is going to be for playing, as it's been put together the most complete out of the two, and we'll see what that means in terms of which one of these is better off. This one actually, you can see at a garage sale at some point, this was $2, marked down to $1. Always makes me laugh when you see that sort of stuff. These things have not been taken well care of sometimes. Whereas you look at this box, it's actually in very nice shape. Like, look at that. I love that, like, 1960s kind of like cartoony racing graphics. The guy with the pipe in his mouth. Too classic. Way too classic. So I'm just going to check my sound levels real quick. Love the way that this sounds, so I think we are good to go. So let's see what we have inside box number one. All right, so looking at this one, there's a lot of tape in here. You can tell that this box has been put back together. So maybe that means that this game was fun enough to actually get played a whole bunch. You know, you see Monopoly boards oftentimes in really bad shape, and that's why. You know what, I'm going to take the one out from underneath. Let's give it a little bit of a better vantage point here. So we've got the picture. Love this era of Formula One car. I think they look so cool. This is just the coolest era. Okay, so this is a really interesting game board. Let's see if I can get a little bit more height. Sorry, folks. Just had a moment there. Accidentally hit the power button. Okay, all right. So if we look at the board, just have a track. I don't think that this is actually any real track. It's kind of cool. We've got Lodge Corner. We've got, oh, hold on. We have cops. Hey, thank you. Much appreciated, John. I actually found most of my audiences in the Netherlands. Who would have thought? A Canadian. Really striking a chord with the Dutch. Much appreciated. So then we got the tactic cards and the pit cards. So you can see there's definitely some sort of Monopoly influence here. Then looking up here, we've got Abbey Curve. So this one, I think, is the parts game. So I'm going to put this one away, and we're going to whip out the other one, which I believe is... Oh, man, look at these speedometers. Oh, that is so cool. I'm sure. So you got like a speed that you have to go. You've got the lap indicator that you're on. Tire wear. We got tire wear. We got brake. And the brake wear gauge. No brakes left. You can reduce your speed by only 20 miles per hour per move. And if any more brake stress is demanded by penalty chart, you must spin off. Danger. No tread left. Keep to safety speeds. I actually, you know what? I wish that I was doing this with somebody else right now, because I would love to actually try to play a round of this. We'll have to do that on another live stream, but for now, let's put this box away and let's go to the other box. I think this is the cooler cover, though, personally. I love this photo, but bringing up... God, I feel like dank pods right now. Oh, you're gonna yell at an MP3 player? Oh, what is golden here? Got the one grit. It's a little bit Kiwi there. I'm not great with the Aussie accent. Yeah, okay. So looking at the board, looks to be very much the same thing again. A little bit darker with the background. You can tell that this was like a refreshed edition, of course. And everything still looks to be pretty much the same. You got your different teams with their starts here. Now let's move on. Okay, we got a rule book. This is going to be important. And oh, look, they actually put away the pit and the tactic cards properly. That other one, they were all kind of strewn about. Oh, and look at the pieces. Look at these pieces. This is so cool. They look exactly like the Monopoly car. Vroom, vroom. And see over here, we got, Lando Norris or Oscar Piastri. Don't have any blue cars yet, so I guess I can't whip up Ricardo. But let's take a look at the rules. So I've never read this before. This is weird. Oh, does it fold out? Oh, geez. Oh, geez. But you know what? It's essentially, I would say, 2 large pages, just the front and the back. So let's start with it. Folds up kind of weird, though. This game originated in Europe, where it is immensely popular with both car racing enthusiasts and those with no prior familiarity with the sport. It is a game for the whole family, which will provide many hours of excitement. As with all Parker games, only material of the highest quality has been used and the rules have been carefully edited to ensure clarity. The object of this game is to be the first player whose car crosses the finish line after a predetermined number of laps. If more than one car crosses the same number of turns, the winner is the one furthest over. The equipment consists of a playing board, 2 decks of cards, 2 dice, 6 racing cars, and 6 dashboards. I find it interesting they don't say how many cards should be in each deck, because I guarantee you that there's more tactics here than pit cards, but that might be intentional. But how do you know if you lost one? After opening the playing board, shuffle all the tactic cards and deal 5 to each player. And only 4 to Ferrari. What? No, I'm just kidding. They don't use tactics. Let's be real. They don't have any tactic cards. Shuffle all the pit cards and place all of them face down on the board on the space provided. Each player rolls the dice, and the player with the highest number takes the yellow car and places it on the space marked 1 on the starting line. The player on his left takes the appropriately colored... His left? Come on, 1960s, be better. The player on their left takes the appropriately colored car for space 2, and so on. Each player takes a dashboard matching the color of their car. I'm not going to be woke this whole time, but if this game is for the whole family, why are they only using male pronouns, right? Before starting the game, players must decide on the number of laps that they will race and set the lap indicator on their dashboards to that number. And I see that it only goes, so they start at 10 and count down. Okay. We're going to look through these cards too in a little bit. A minimum number of 3 laps must be raced for all factors of the game to come into play, but as many as 10 laps may be raced depending on the length of game desired. Set all other dials on the dashboards at 0. Place the dice in the center of the board as they are not used in making moves. The dice are used only for determining penalties. Well, that's interesting. Message retracted. Let's see if I can find out what your message was, good sir. Moving on. Play. The player with the yellow car always moves first. Interesting. Okay. He determines the number of spaces that he will move by the setting of his speedometer according to the following rules. If 20 miles per hour is set on the speedometer, move car 1 space on board. If 40 miles per hour is set on the speedometer, move car 2 spaces on board. If 60 miles per hour is set on the speedometer, move car 3 spaces on board, etc., etc. Speed may be increased by 20, 40, or 60 miles per hour per turn, but never by more than 60 miles per hour. At the beginning of the race, it is usually advantageous for a driver to set his speedometer up to 60 miles per hour and move 3 spaces. Then, on a player's next turn, if he wishes, set his speedometer up to 120 miles per hour and move 6 spaces. After the first player has moved his car, his turn ends, and the player to his left plays in the same manner. Play continues in a clockwise direction. Moving. Oh, you wonder how old the game was? Yeah, 1964 is the copyright, but I do believe that these two were made at different times. I didn't see as many indications on this one as to when it was printed. I didn't see the copyright on it. Interestingly, though, Ontario, hey? Toronto, Ontario. Oh, another Canadian game. Well, that makes sense because I'm here in Canada. So, of course, we got this Canadian game here in Canuckistan. So, returning to moving, one space on the board represents 20 miles per hour on the speedometer. So, a player having 100 miles per hour on his speedometer moves his car 5 spaces. Movement is always in a forward direction, either straight ahead or diagonally, or if the player hails from Russia, you can spin. Just kidding. But never sideways. Only one car is allowed on one space at a time, and no car may jump over another. Also, that's not fair to Daniel Kvyat. He wasn't bad. He wasn't like Mazepin. See diagram A. So you can jump here, but you can't occupy the same space. Increasing or reducing speed. At the beginning of every turn, a player must decide on the speed at which he will move by setting his speedometer. A driver may change his speed at the beginning of any turn, but he may never increase his speed by more than 60 miles per hour per turn. Due to hazards at various points on track, the need to slow down arises. When reducing speed at the beginning of any turn, a player must pay any penalty demanded by the speed reduction chart on the back of his dashboard. Harsh braking results in wear and tear of the brakes and tires. As indicated by the speed reduction chart on the back of each dashboard, a 20 mile per hour reduction in speed may be made on any turn and does not result in any brake or tire wear. Moderate use of brakes results only in brake wear, but harsh braking penalties in brake and tire wear. The penalties must be indicated on the dials provided on the dashboard. So I can see why this game is Canadian and not Mexican, because in Mexico, they really know how to take care of tires, and there would be no challenge for them, of course. So reduction in speed, you can see here, you take it's 1 point per 20 miles per hour in excess of the first 20. And so, yeah, you can take a little bit of wear on the brakes, but then you can take wear on the brakes and tires. Penalty chart, if you're over the safety speed, there's no penalties. Spin off, but do not alter gauges. Tire wear 1, tire wear 1. So spin off, but do not alter gauges. Classic Max Verstappen move. He's had 2 of those 360s that he has recovered and just continued on with. In as many races, it's been very impressive. Well, actually, not as many. There was a couple races between, but, at Silverstone there, and then at the most recent race, that was those good times at the Hungaroring. So the penalty charts, and so you can see here we've got tire wear 1, tire wear 1, tire wear 2, but if tire wear on gauge 4 or more, you spin off, and then you got the other penalty chart over here for if you roll 7, 8. Interesting that they have 3 and 3. Like if you roll doubles, you get no penalties. See 4 and 4. No penalty, but 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you got your, this would take a little bit of figuring out, I think, but once you had some people and you were playing it, I think it would make a lot more sense. Corners. There are 6 corners on the racetrack represented by red bands. So if we take a look over at the racetrack once again, let me get this. I don't have any nails at all, so I am struggling here. There we go. So you see the red bands that are at the corners. Do my best Vanna White. Ooh, look at this. Oh yeah. Look at that watched wrist. Yeah, so we got here as well. So those are the corners. The corners can be taken safely and without penalty at or below the safety speed on the red band over which a car crosses. Oh, I wonder if there's a racing line in here. Please tell me there is. Oh, look at that. You can go around the, see the spin-off point if you're taking in here, right? You got 80, 80, 40, 80. So what you'd be trying to do, I guess, is interesting. I feel like there would actually be a lot of strategy and tactics to this. This game is going to be fun. We are for sure going to do this live on a stream. I'll have to hit up my brother. I think he'd be down to play this with me. You only played a few dollars for a 60-year-old game? I don't know. My dad owned this game. He owns an antique store, which he very recently shut down so that he could retire. This was unsold in his basement. So maybe this was bought at a garage sale. Maybe it was not. But at some point in its history, this game was at a garage sale for $1. A Canadian dollar, too. Depending on how well that garage sale was, though, there were times in history when the Canadian dollar was worth more than the American dollar. So you can't say that was less than $1. As races are not necessarily won by taking corners at safe speeds, it is frequently to a player's advantage to exceed the safe speed, even at the risk of a penalty. A player's car may take a corner at 20 miles per hour or 40 miles per hour over the safety speed. When a car has been moved the full number of spaces shown on the speedometer and has passed over or come to rest on a red band, and has exceeded the speed limit by 20 miles per hour or 40 miles per hour, the dice must be thrown. The player refers to the penalty chart on the back of his dashboard to determine what penalty, if any, he has incurred. Depending on the number thrown, there is the possibility of paying the penalty of tire wear, brake wear, or spinning off. Any penalty involving tire or brake wear must be shown on the appropriate gauges on the player's dashboard. So as you see here, we've got the tire wear indicator, which, we started at 0. Maybe we put that up to 2, and then you got your brake wear, and you got your lap indicator. Find my spot here. Depending on the number thrown, there's the possibility of paying the penalty of tire wear, brake wear, or spinning off. Any penalty involving tire or brake wear must be shown on the appropriate gauges on the player's dashboard. The faster a corner is taken over the safety speed, the greater the risk of harsh penalties. A car taking a corner at 60 miles per hour or more over the safety speed automatically spins off the track. In this case, there is no other penalty. When a car crosses over 2 red bands over the safety speed, during the course of one move, the dice must be thrown twice and the possible penalty paid separately for each band. A car always spins off in the following circumstances. When a red corner band is passed at a speed of 60 miles per hour or more above the safety speed, when a speed reduction of over 20 miles per hour is demanded and there are no brakes left, when a red corner band is crossed at any speed over the safety speed, and the tire wear gauge is at its maximum speed of 8. Spinning off can also occur as a result of the dice throw, as shown on the penalty chart. When a car spins off while taking a corner, it is placed on the spin-off point. The speedometer is set to 0, but the tire and brake wear gauges are not altered. No damage is done by spinning off, and on the next turn, the car can then proceed normally at any speed up to 60 miles per hour. So that is quite the penalty. He kept talking about spinning off without defining it, and now I see what they mean. So if we're going to look again at the board, I'll show you what that spin-off point is. So we're coming through this corner here, and you see you can spin off. Or, you get here, you end up in the spin-off point over here. So you go off the board over there. So let's learn now more about blocking. Blocking the road to other drivers is to your own advantage since it prevents their overtaking. This can usually be brought about where the track is narrowed by the gray corner islands or Prenton Pool. A blocked car may be moved forward as many spaces as possible to the space immediately behind the blocking car. See diagram B. In the diagram, number 1 car moves at 60 miles per hour in front of the number 5 car, thus preventing him from moving and forcing him to reduce speed to 60 miles per hour. Oh, that is deadly. That is dirty too. If the car blocking you is traveling at a lower speed than your own car, you must reduce the speed on your speedometer to equal that of the car in front. If you reduce your speed by more than 20 miles per hour, you must roll the dice, and any penalty of brake wear or tire wear must be indicated on your dials immediately. See speed reduction chart. When a blocked car spins off as a result of being forced to brake too hard without enough tire or brake wear remaining, it is placed on the outside of the track opposite to the point at which it is standing. The speedometer is reset to 0. If the car blocking is traveling at a faster speed than your car, you may, if you wish, increase speed to that of the blocking car, providing the increase is not more than 60 miles per hour, even though you cannot move the correct number of spaces. Pits and pit cards. At the end of any lap, a driver may drive into his pit. Pit stops enable the driver to have his tires changed, his brakes adjusted, and any repairs made so that he can continue the race with his car in perfect condition. Pit stop spaces do not form part of the normal track, and a player may drive only into his own pit space. Once in the pit, all dials except the lap indicator are reset to 0. When approaching the pits, the driver must set his speedometer so that by moving the indicated number of spaces, his car can be brought exactly to its own pit stop. If a player misjudges his speed and overshoots his pit space, he must continue the new lap as no reversing or sideways movement is allowed. When calling at the pits, a player must always draw a pit card and follow its instructions before moving off again. If a car is blocked in the pit or in a spin-off point, the player may bring his speedometer up to 60 miles per hour, although he may be unable to move. And on his next turn, he can move off at any speed up to 120 miles per hour. So let's see what the pit cards look like. I'm kind of interested. There's not a lot. So we have good pit work. Starting speed 80, do not miss move. Pit card, special brake linings fitted. Miss one move. Man, they put new brake linings on. That is hilarious. Pit card, quick tire change. Do not miss move. Pit card, engine overheated. Miss one move. Pit card, special tires fitted. Miss one move. Take any one bend at 40 miles per hour over safety speed without penalty. Return to pack when used. Pit card, faulty steering. Miss one move. Pit card, dirt in carburetors. Miss one move. Pit card, slow tire change. Miss one move. Faulty ignition. Miss two moves. Influx of Chinese replica. Really? Oh, my dad traded a lot in vintage toys like Corgi, Dinky, Matchbox, Hot Wheels, Johnny Lightning. And I was not aware that they were Chinese replicas. That's crazy. You have been black flagged for heavy oil leak and are a danger to other drivers. Miss one move. Wowzers. Just target Kevin Magnussen. Why don't you? New instructions, permission to use extra tactic card. Miss one move, the extra card to be taken from the top of the discard pile. Interesting. So you're just reusing somebody else's tactic. Good pit work, but slow start. Starting speed's 40, do not miss move. Poor teamwork by pit crew, miss one move. Driver affected by fumes, miss one move. Oh, driver affected by fumes. That is amazing. No fuel pressure, miss one move. Missed gear change, slow start, starting speed 20, do not miss move. Very interesting. Okay, I may have to go grab some water in a little bit. This is a lot of talking. Okay, so we're moving on to pits and the pit cards. Yeah. And yeah, that's right. You reset all your dials to 0. So tactic cards. At the beginning of the game, the tactic cards are shuffled and each player is dealt 5 from the pack. These cards permit a player to move his car a few extra spaces at the end of any turn, except when a player's car is in a spin-off area, to increase its speed rapidly at the beginning of any turn, or to take a corner at any speed during a turn, depending on the instructions on the cards. Once a card has been used, it must be returned to the bottom of the tactics card pile on the board. Players do not draw additional tactic cards during the game, except when instructed to do so by a pit card. A player cannot play a tactic card after he has rolled the dice to determine a penalty. Only one tactic card may be used on a turn. I will be right back. I need some water. Give me 10 seconds. My voice. She can't do it, Captain. She just can't do it. Ah, sweet nectar of life. Love that water. Drink water. Don't drink energy drinks, drink water. Forget Red Bull, forget Monster, all that stuff. Love Red Bull Racing, but their energy drinks. Kind of gross. I don't like the way they make me feel either. So, lap indicator. The lap indicator on each dashboard acts as a record of laps left to be traveled. Every time that a player's car lands on or crosses over the checkered finish line, that car's lap indicator is reduced by 1. Finishing and winning. When a car lands on or crosses the checkered finish line after completing the set number of laps, he has finished. However, he has not necessarily won, for all cars must have the same number of turns to avoid number 1 having an unfair advantage. Play continues until the last player has taken his turn. The car, which is then furthest over the checkered line, is the winner. And then in the back, it's in French. So, présentation. Ce jeu est originaire de... No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to read that in French. Y'all don't come to me for French YouTube stuff. Yeah, scared away after stories of experts like Vectis not able to determine if they're genuine or... Yeah, you know what? I can see why old toys might not be considered... or might not be able to be distinguished because, like, let's be real. They didn't have the highest quality manufacturing processes in the first place. So let's take a look at the tactic cards. And then I'm going to, I think, have to call it there. Yeah, so let's take a look at the tactic cards. There's a lot. Speed gain by slipstreaming, move forward, or move 3 spaces forward. Speed gain by slipstreaming. Move 3 spaces forward. Use at the end of any turn, except when you have spun off or are in the pit. Fast gear change. Move 2 spaces forward. Use at the end of any turn, except when you have spun off or are in the pit. Good carburetor adjustment by mechanics. Accelerate immediately up to 120 miles per hour. Use at the beginning of any turn. This would be really good to keep for after a spin off. Fast gear change. Move 2 spaces forward. Use at the end of any turn except when you have spun off or are in the pit. Quick retractions or quick reactions. Move 4 spaces forward. Use at the end of any turn or except use at the end of any turn except when you have spun off or are in the pit. Quick reactions. Move 4 spaces forward. Oh, are these? I think, yeah, look at that. Got a fast gear change, quick reactions, good carburetor adjustment, superb driving. Take 1 corner at any speed, providing the track is clear. Interesting. Speed gain by slipstreaming, superb driving, fast gear change. Speed gain by slipstreaming. Move 2 spaces forward from a fast gear change, and then slipstreaming, quick reactions. I don't think there's that many tactics here. I thought there was going to be much more of a breadth to these. Like, look at this. We got the move 2 spaces forward from the fast gear change, and then we got the quick reactions and the superb diving. Slipstreaming. Please be a new one in here. I don't think there will be, though. Unless there's like a really rare one. What do we got here? Good carb adjustments again. Slipstreaming. If there's only 5 different types of tactic cards and everybody only gets 5 cards, are we supposed to get 1 of each, or do we dealt these at random? I'll have to look at the rules again. Take 1 corner at any speed, providing the track is clear. That's a real wild child. It's a real wild one. I'm a wild one. Slipstreaming. Quick reactions. Good carburetor adjustments and the superb driving. So if we put these into piles, they actually look like they're relatively equal in how many there are of each. but I feel like these are supposed to be random, right? Preparation. After opening the playing board, shuffle all the tactic cards and deal 5 to each player. Yeah, so they are supposed to be shuffled up so that they're relatively even. So we'll definitely have to shuffle these up a little bit when I do decide to play this. And I will do that at a time when I've got somebody else to play with. But unfortunately, it's just me around right now. I don't have a willing compatriot. So thank you very much to everybody who tuned in, John especially. Shout out to the Netherlands. I'm sure you're part of the Orange Army, but if you want to have a spicy opinion and not be a Max fan, let me know who you're interested in. Who do you think is cool? What do you think about all the upcoming driver changes and stuff? Do you want to see us play a game with this in the future? Let me know in the comments. If you have any other cool F1 memorabilia, please. Yeah, Max Verstappen for greatest of all time. Probably. He probably will be. I just can't see him not being, unless of course Red Bull just shits the bed like they did with Daniel Ricciardo, you know. The entire time that he was formidable, they just didn't have a car that could compete for the ship. So yeah, it's entirely possible that Max is about to enter an era of dominance. And if you have other cool old F1 stuff like this, would you want to see me read an old like 1960s F1 magazine? Let me know. Please, if you like this video, subscribe, give me a like. Lots of different choices for ways that you can support. Send this to somebody you know who might enjoy this content. And until the next time I go live, my name is Stacey Hewen, and let's be fiends together. Why is it so hard to turn this off?